going, and I'm just gonna go make some notifications again. Probably build an actual proper like waiting time. Those screens that suspicious screens that say like stream starting in a little bit. I make like a custom one. I got like a default one, but yeah, I thought you guys prefer to see my beautiful masked face. All right, Twitter. Also, big long stream tomorrow, drawing like about 21 VTubers. So that's gonna be fun. Okay. I'm never good like with making like notifications. I never know what to say. Hey, come watch my crap. I'm doing anime things. Actually, that would be good. I don't know. That might be too vulgar. Let's see, where's that? I need my Twitter, not Twitter. Why did you close? I need my Twitch. Copy. So Windows has gotta fix the Surface Touch keyboard. It is such a glitchy mess right now. It's frustrating. Like it closes so many things. Like you have to like type like 5-second increments because like it brings down the laptop as soon as you click it once after like 5 seconds. Oh, misspelled VTuber. HD and code notifications. Twit. There we go. Now I'll call it good for there. So we got that one. Let's see, and we got a viewer. Hello. Just doing some little notifications real quick before I get the game going. Get over here. This one. The Just Dreadful. Why you no open? Why you no open Discord? Why you stupid? Have they also not fixed this yet? Like this has been a problem in like Discord like for like 2 years now, right? Like it just doesn't shut off. It just kind of like sits in the background and then prevents you from relaunching it if you close it. So you gotta like, go open your task manager, then you gotta close it, and then it runs through an update, and then it just blah blah blah. Stupid. Stupid. I got like a lot of drawing I need to do this week. I got episode 3 of my webcomic. That's coming along nicely. I'm gonna be probably a little bit late, but it should be done Saturday. Got a collab coming up Saturday. Gonna be playing Minecraft with Alti, so that's gonna be fun. You gonna work now? Or do you want to continue to be the stupid? Right there. Yeah, good enough. Oh well, let's continue the game. I'm too bored with that. Load. C. Game starts. A super happy music. First word. This is just dreadful. Just so sleepy. I slumped my head onto the desk and drifted off into an afternoon nap. It seemed that Satoko had responded, but I pretended not to hear her. Cut it out, Satoko-chan. Kichan fell asleep. Oh. His sleeping face, so cute. It's been a while since I've done the voices. You can take him home later. Let him be for now. Oh, and they're talking about my kidnapping. That's great. Let's move over there. It'd be rude for Kichan if we bothered him now. Kichan really is a good girl. Let's not wake him up, even if the teacher comes back. I take that back. The excuse that I didn't sleep much last night because I was watching TV was a lie. It was all a clever ruse. I was in bed at the usual time, but because of the conversation with Oushi, how would you say that? Oushi or like Oishi-san, that afternoon, I didn't get much sleep, just spending the day like this. It's almost as if the incident with Tomoka-san didn't happen at all. It made me think, was Uishi-san just trying to deceive me? But it was probably the truth. One thing was certain, I couldn't speak to anyone about this. It's my little secret. He wanted my assistance, but I really didn't know anything about it. If I knew I wasn't going to be of any help, I probably wouldn't have listened to him in the first place. It ended up with me again, regretting learning something I didn't need to know. If I had never learned about it, I would, without a doubt, be goofing off with the rest of them right now. I couldn't help but resent Oishi-san for this. Huh? When was that? I heard he wasn't there the next day. It appears he vanished the night of the Watangashi. Creepy and ghost music. Mion whispered to keep others from listening, but I could hear it clearly. On the other hand, Rena's voice was even harder to pick up. But I could still tell that she was quite upset. It couldn't be. Are they talking about Tamaka-san? Itake? Taki? Not sure. That's all I know. I would have to feign ignorance about this topic, because I needed to keep it a secret. Rather than waking up and being forced to lie to join the conversation, it was much easier just to sit here and pretend I was asleep to listen in on their discussion. Oh, my speaker's still on.
Power off.
There we go. Wait, why did I have to pretend to be asleep while eavesdropping on my friend's conversation? The guilt stung. Ow. So, and me, there were others, right? Two? But they don't know if it's from the curse or if it was Onikakushi. Onigakushi. Onikakushi. To be hidden away by a demon? What a mysterious phrase. I did, however, get the feeling it meant nothing good. There was anything, right? Right? If it's Oshiro-sama, yeah. But this year, all Grandma and the mayor had talked about it. Seems like they talked to the police about it beforehand. They said they'd take care of whatever happens this year without causing a commotion, without us knowing it. Someone had them, you mean, maybe, breaking up. Next could me, I wonder. Don't worry, you got home safely, but it is not allowed, right? That was a long time ago. Let's stop talking about this. Amidst the uncomfortable mood, both of them went silent. The entirety of the conversation was still a bit unclear, but a few parts caught my attention. First of all, the term onikakushi, to be demoned away by succubus, by the context is used in, I would guess, it's similar to being spirited away, like the movie, Studio Ghibli. Sponsored by Studio Ghibli. I suspect that was what it meant because Tomoka-san and that woman, that buggery woman trying to steal my man, I actually think I think Twitch actually removed that video when I was fawning over it. They didn't say why. It's just gone. They didn't tell me why. It's one of my videos, straight gone. Luckily, I downloaded it so it's on YouTube now. Because I made an archive channel, if you didn't know. So if you ever missed my streams, check it out there. Link in the about file. Anyways, and that woman, it really bugged me that I don't know her name. I don't want to know that witch's name. She's probably behind it. Vanished after the Watangashi. Good. The next thing that stuck out was when Rena said, there's another one, right? Rena also said, if it's Oyashiro-sama, yeah, responding to something. If it's Oyashiro-sama's curse, then there had to be 2 victims. Is that what she meant? Come to think of it, I remember Miron saying at the beginning that they didn't know if it was from the curse or if it was a case of Onigakushi. It seems that the curse and being demoned away are different things, and they were phenomena there that were paired together. Oh, hello. Someone spilled the paint in the classroom. I recall Tomoka-san's terrible end. That wasn't something as elegant as disappearing. That horrendous end would best be described as cursed, but not in the meme way. Then the woman with him, may she die, it means she vanished because she was demoned away. What I do know is that there's normally an even number of victims of the curse proper, and the last point that bothered me was Rena. Rena was frightened. For what reason, I didn't know. However, she knew that something had made her a potential target for Oshiro-sama's curse. If I recall correctly, Oshiro-sama should be the guardian deity of Hinozamiya. Isn't a guardian deity supposed to defend the citizens and drive out invaders? Clearly, he's changed the rules on those. If I recall correctly, yesterday Oshiro-sama said that originally the targets were enemies of the village, but recently there was no longer any distinction between them or regular outsiders. But if that was the case, then I would think that I'd be the more likely target, having moved here more recently than Rena, like 2 weeks ago. From her composure, I could infer that she was grimly certain that she would be next. I should probably relay what I heard now to Oshiro-sama. Inform the police of what I heard by eavesdropping on my friends while pretending to be asleep. Haha, James Bond level skill. It made me feel terrible. Oh, come on, it's fun. It raised a few questions and left me with a bad taste in my mouth. Wouldn't it be better not to speak the answers to those questions? As I continued to learn more and more, I felt like I had fallen past the point of no return. I would definitely regret this one day. I would definitely regret ever having learned of these events. Right back to the happy music. The teacher approaches! Kicha-san, you must wake up. In the distance, I could hear the ring of the handbell signaling the death of us all, the start of the afternoon classes. Couldn't sleep at all. Murder! Hastily, I opened my eyes and raised my head up. It was in that moment when that actually scared me. I notice my eyes jiggle when I laugh. Like my mask eye will jiggle. It's interesting. I leaned against the back of my seat. Ow! There was a thumbtack stuck on the back of my chair with it. Circumstantial evidence was enough. Satoko! I screamed with my manly voice. Guilty without trial. Capital punishment! I furiously jumped up from my seat. There's about to be a third murder in this one, except this one will be justified. And I tripped as if my feet were tangled up. My shoelaces had been tied together. Not bad, Satoku. While I was sleeping, you were able to conceal your presence and able to pull off this fine piece of work. You also stole my wallet and took out a loan to get a car. The teacher came in right as I was about to pull off my shoes and tackle Satoku. Ho ho ho, did you not notice that our teacher has arrived, Kisha-san? Take your seat. Clunk clunk whoosh poof. Not caring one bit, I made her eat a flick to the head. Bwah! Kichan is being mean. Hey, don't pick on the younger kids, Mirabaka. Apologize to her. Never. I saw her stick her tongue out at me. That little brat. And that basically reminds me of my little sister. Come on, Mirabaka. Yeah, I apologize. Sorry, Tako-san, for not putting you out of your misery. In any case, I apologize even if it was in complete insincere tone of voice. Darn her, I'll remember this. Kichan, get your revenge at the club meeting. Take your seat. I sat down after Mion told me she'd switched to class representative mode. Little did she know I planted a high explosive underneath Satoku's bomb, set to go off at the lunch bell in 10 minutes. All I had to do was simply wait. With the boring class finished, school was finally over for the day. Now then, what should we do for our club today? Personally, I would like to play that deduction game one more time. I was hardly able to play it last time because of Oishama. Rena and I weren't even able to test our strategy. Our cheatery. Teamwork treatery. That's right, today Kishan and I will be victorious. You fool, what should we do? Oh, what should we do? We've never played the same game 2 days in a row before. Why not try asking me? Mira looked over her shoulder as we made eye contact. She slowly tapped her palm with her fist as her face suddenly lit up. Oops, I completely forgot I need to go help my uncle today. Sorry guys, not today. Helping your uncle? Aren't you a little goody two-shoes? Sorry, really. I really did forget. Well then, sorry guys. This old man is heading back home now. Miran left with that and rushed off to exit after snatching up her bag. You see, Michan, she sometimes goes to help out her uncle's shop in town. Ah, I thought she wasn't the type to get caught up in such bothersome stuff. She said she gets paid for it. It's quite a bit of spending money from what I hear. I see. She was able to pay for that mountain of games with what she saved up from there. But that wouldn't call... wouldn't you call that a part-time job? Isn't that against school policy? It's a rule. That's weird. My school actually employed me when I was like 15. Made bank. There's a clause that states family businesses are excluded. Is that what she's calling it? So what now? Pass on the club activity? Club today? So, we're done today, I guess. Won't it be fine even without the club president? Let's do this. I opened the club locker and began searching for the deduction game from that ever-growing pile of games. Ah, here it is. The deduction game from yesterday. Man, I had to stop just as I was getting the hang of it. At the very least, I wanted to repay Satoko for what she did during the afternoon break. Yes, revenge. Sweet, sweet revenge. I do not mind, but is that fine for Rena-san and Rika? If Kichan wants to so badly, I wouldn't mind playing for a bit. I think it's better if we do it when we have everyone together. When she says it like that, I wanted to go shopping if there wasn't a club meeting today. Going to buy soy sauce and other things. Oh, that's right. I completely forgot. Well, I guess since it's been a while, I should go treasure hunting. What's this now? Everyone has no longer mood for the club activity? And just like that, they all vanished. If I kept on trying to push the matter, it may take them to realize I had a trick up my sleeve. Oh well, I'll give up this time. But my revenge shall come. Man, I really was looking forward to playing it. I shuffled through the cards as if I was still caught up on it. At the next opportunity, I shall give you a sound thrashing. Ho, ho, ho. Oh, oh, oh. The murderer is Satoko. The murder weapon is the pistol. It was you after all. What did you say? Then I'll just... Sakura looked through the cards on the... Wait, I thought we weren't playing. What did you say? And I'll just... Sakura looked through the cards on the deck and stuck out 3 of them at me. The murderer is Kichi in the lounge with the rope. I don't need no rope. I'll just strangle you like this. No! Okay, now I'm just thinking of this. It's such a beast. Oh, phew. Hey, you filthy, honorless merchant. Hey, I have plenty of honor, alright? Now, excuse me while I beat up this kid. I guess it's good that I got that out of my system. Bah! I'll remember this, Keychans. I swear I have honor, alright? You just joined at a very bad time. She was used as a plaything for quite a while. How unfortunate. Haha, cute, cute. Yes, everyone mock the blonde girl. Revenge is sweet, says the man who made a post about how if someone offered more money, you turn your back on your client. That's literally how mercenary things work. It's honorable. Honorable to money. Everyone got ready to go back home. I also helped gather up the scattered cards. I suddenly paused. I could feel my honor being questioned by some fox boy in an alternate dimension. Cards, but I noticed something strange. Rena, Sotoko, Rika, Kichi, Myon. Satoshi. Satoshi? So does I have plenty of honor. I played For Honor. I have honor. I beat the campaign of For Honor, alright? Not all the cards were made by us. Or at least, every card besides this one has the name of the club member. Does this mean that this Satoku Shilla is a member? The caravans are honorable if we agree to fight the 5 diamonds we turn up our nose at blocks of netherite. You're just missing out. More netherite, better armor, more clients who want to hire you. It's that easy. Was there someone in the class named Satoshi? I couldn't find anyone named Satoshi on the class roster stuck up on the wall. Kijin-kun, let's hurry and finish up cleaning. Meanwhile, your lore is greed. Hey, my lore is merchandise, alright? Greed is a strong word from where I come from, alright? You insult me and my family. I finished up quickly. Satoko and Rika-chan, I beat you when I had worse gear, was going into your base, and gave you a heads up. Yeah, well, screw you. I have plenty of skills to pay my bills, but Mike. Yeah, 3 times, yeah. Okay, I died that time because my elevator was broken, alright? If I hadn't, placed the block, this would have been, that full water seal, and I would have shot up and been able to get out faster. But yeah, well, technically the trap didn't kill me. You still shot me. What do I know? For the locker, so we were the only ones left in the classroom. Right now, Rena had already gotten her bags and was ready to leave. Rena? There must be quite a few people who transferred from the school, right? I tried asking Rena in a bit of a roundabout way. Rena made a troubled face and then answered. Yeah, it was as a rule of town, right? Saturdays we need a duel with equal gear. Alright. I'm down for that. Out every now and then. Then in Satoshi's another one of those transfers. Sorry? I don't really know. There was a bit of a pause, but the answer was pretty much immediate. I can build a arena or something we can build a fight on. May your reputation rip. Oh, my reputation will skyrocket, alright? I was taking it easy on you. When you get beat by an eccentric inventor. Well, the thing is, my real plan is I can't beat you too hard, right, in battle, right? If I let you win, that makes you more likely to I think that maybe you're in charge and you want to hire me more, right? But if I get when I'm giving you a good thrash and kicking your butt I could just wham, going full Super Saiyan, Ultra Instinct on you, right? I think that'd lead to some hurt feelings and probably no good business. It's all part of a clever plan. Well, I'm not saying it to be mean, just last year I transferred in, so I've been here for a year. So maybe I just missed him. So I didn't hear much about him. Sorry. Satoshi, eh? I am not sure, sorry. Her answer was a lot like when she refused to tell me about the murder at the dam. Why would I hire someone who's less effective at defense than me, though? Now, the thing is, if you win too much, then that leads to hurt feelings and bad ownership and bad, business, right? Hurt feelings ain't good for that. But if you work for someone who thinks they're better than you, they often undermine you, and you're able to, be able to let more, push in and get a little more influence in there. Right? Strategy. Her answer was a lot. It was saddened by her denial and felt a little bit angry. I'm their friend, aren't I? Friends don't keep secrets from their friends, do they? Though I do appreciate that. Well, you do keep some secrets. It's pretty obvious you gotta keep some things to yourself. But though I do appreciate that they kept that unsettling curse thing from me. But if everyone is worried about it, I'd rather be worried with them. That's what it means to be friends, right? For a moment, I wondered just what kind of face I was making just then, with these mixed feelings of sadness and annoyance. Bro, you just coping? It's called denial. Get it right. I don't need to cope. Just denial. Deny. Simple as that. You're making a scary face. No, I'm not. I am not angry with you at all. I am nowhere convinced that you are all murderers trying to kill me. Why? It was probably exactly the kind of face Rena said it was. It appears my grim expression had frightened her. Ah, sorry. Oh. Alright, yeah, there's Mr. Skeleton yelling in my ear. Thank you. Wait, does it even pick up that audio in the stream now? Because my audio's been like a little bit weird. So like I have to select what audio it gets. So if it's playing through Twitch, I don't know if it's picking up the follow notification. Oh, let me test something. Unfollow, refollow. Yeah, can you do it real quick? Epic. Oh, so you can hear it though? The ribs, spare ribs. It's like I'm not sure if it's picking up the audio of notifications. There was no noise. Son of a ash slinging slasher motherfucker. That's stupid. Why does Discord like got like not Discord? This stupid thing changed like how it's just like there's no chance for you to win this duel. Yeah. You keep dreaming there, buckaroo. Why is there no I freaking Twitch streamer is nice, but like it has so many like stupid glitches in it. Especially the audio right now. Like I have to download like an audio file like every freaking day or every time I want to use it. Oh, excuse me, because it just like doesn't like it just doesn't work. It's annoying. And usually I didn't have to like set up the audio for each individual thing every time. I killed you multiple times until you used cheats because you were raging. No, raging would be a destroy thing. That was a simple display of power, right? And influence, right? So we can just ignore that. It's about to say it doesn't count. But this duel shall decide who is the better miner and crafter. So I was really looking forward to the club act today. I'm just feeling a bit down. Power abuse. No. Because you were raging. No. No, I do not rage. I simply make annoyances disappear. I rustled Rena's hair. Let's go home. Dragging that awkward mood with us, we headed home. Boop, 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 doo, 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 doo. Want to bet on the duel? Maybe. What are we betting? I wonder why. Why I have been getting this dumb feeling lately. I didn't know anything. I had nothing to worry about. I was just enjoying my everyday life. My long outstretched shadow gave no answer to my naive inquiry. Why do I talk to my shadow? That's probably a sign of insanity. Kijun, are you tired? Maybe. Well, I was asleep in school. 3 diamonds each. Okay, I can do that. There's some reason behind my mood. I'm sure my expression had made this situation even more unsettling. You think so? Yeah. You seem to have been a little out of it ever since this morning. Speaking of sleeping, I have confirmed my roommate talks in his sleep. Like, full-blown words. But, like, all he says is, like, the first time he did it, he just asked, like, would just say, what? What? Like, every, like, 10 minutes. But now he's, like, agreeing, so it's like, yeah. Alright. Right. Huh? And if, let's see, 3 diamonds each, and if I win, you admit you suck. Yeah. That's a little too high of a price, right? We say we are on equal footing, right? Like, I think I can admit that. We are on equal parts. I don't suck. Maybe a cold? Physically, I was pretty sure I was perfect health. I'm a perfect male specimen. Pretty sure I was in perfect health. It may not seem like it, but I've had a perfect attendance since elementary school. Dang, that's actually pretty impressive. I'm not admitting a chance I'll lose. I'm admitting to there's a chance we might tie. There's a difference. It could be that the fatigue from moving has finally caught up to you. Because if you refuse which small things you think, there's a good chance I'll win. No, that's not. If I refuse it, that's because it won't happen. That's kind of like how refusing works. Caught up to you. It's completely different from where we used to live, after all. Gotten tired since there's so much you need to get used to and remember? Maybe that's it. Or maybe it's the fact my Tamaka-san has been murdered in cold blood, and the murderer hasn't been caught, and the witch is still on the loose. If you were... Maybe that's it. Yeah, it has to be. So stop the topic. Rena was also like that at first, too. I can tell you... You know? I wondered if Rena also experienced the slight bit of alienation last year that I was feeling right now. Well, I gotta go now. Enjoy... I can't enjoy something I don't do. Fox. So unprofessional. Thinking I felt that she was the only one who could understand how I felt. I'd like to hear about when you first came into Higurashi. How was it? Feeling I had been drawn into the conversation, her face suddenly brightened. Ah, well, it was same as Kichan-kun. I didn't know the villagers' names at all. Micha-chan and the rest were all very kind, so I wasn't lonely, but I did still feel a bit out of place. Reno told me all the details of when she had moved here. All of her first acquaintances and surprises, worries, and good times. So Sakura got to you too. Yeah, there was a thumbtack put on my chair. Poke! It actually punctured one of my kidneys. They actually don't function properly. Yeah, that really takes me back. When were you invited into the club? The first day? Nah, there wasn't a club at the beginning. It was formed part way through. One day, she said we should stay after and hold a big game tournament. Come to think of it, Myon did say she was the first club president. Now I get it. She is the founder. This is a secret, but Myon used to be really bad at the beginning. She'd never win. Huh? Myon, really? Yeah, but then she started beating us up after school, so we started letting her win. I can't even imagine that. She had to do most of the penalties that she came up with. Ha 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 ha, seriously, don't tell. I can't believe Myon was like that. So she gradually transformed into a monster, used any means necessary to win during that game. Myon is at her best when she's fighting dirty. I began making more friends besides Michan after that, but yeah, it might have only been since you moved here that I had finally felt like I had gotten used to it here. I guess Rena had also been left in the dark about Oshiro-sama when she had just moved here. I guess when they finally told me about Oshiro-sama, I'd be considered one of them. One of us. One of us. I wondered when I'll finally be considered one of them. Huh? Did you say something? No, sorry. Just wondering when I can join this cool cult y'all doing. Just talking to myself. Ha ha ha, Kichan, you're silly. Rena was poking fun and laughing at me. I couldn't help but laugh as well. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Yeah, my eye definitely jiggles when I laugh. That's kind of funny. But I suddenly stopped. Then after making my mind, I spoke up. Let's get married. Hey, Rena. Is there something that everybody is keeping from me? How'd you know? No, not at all. You're awfully sweating a lot. It's the weather. It's a little hot today. It's 60 degrees. It's not that hot. You're lying, aren't you? Rena suddenly stopped. Her expression was cold and intense. What do you mean by that, Kijun? Oh no. Her tone was still the same, cheery and lighthearted as before. You are, aren't you? Keeping something from me. After understanding what I meant, her expression grew even more intense. Seeing that face, I regretted saying something so rash. But she came back at me in a way I didn't expect. Oh, shoot! Oh, thank you, Chinkun. Aren't you keeping something from us? Huh? Okay, let's back up the crazy train a little bit. Let's fix those pupils of yours before we start, talking. Oh boy, her tone didn't change, but it was the first time I'd seen this expression from Rena. With how her gaze pierced through me, I couldn't believe this was the same Rena. Aren't you? Lies or secrets, aren't you? You are. Secrets. She didn't actually say that part, but she looked as if she did. Oh boy. The incident with Tamaka-san, and how I felt alienated me from the group. Even without having to think about it, there were things I knew that I felt guilty about. But I didn't tell everyone about what happened, for Tamaka-san to be considered. I was keeping it a secret just the same way they didn't tell me about Oshiro-sama. Then aren't we even? No, I am not. I am an honest man in my dealings. No lies, nor secrets. Liar. Her answer was instant and it shook me. Rena stared as if burrowing through me, watching me like a hawk. Why would you say it? Why would you say I am lying? I am an honest businessman. Didn't you say that you were called into the teacher's room yesterday during the club meeting, Ki-Jung-un? I know. You didn't go to the teacher's room. I swallowed hard. It clearly wasn't a bluff. Okay. She knew what happened. The teacher said you had a guest, didn't she? But you didn't go talk at the entrance. You talked inside the car near the school gate. With some of the men we don't know. Rena knew everything. She knew that I was called out by Oshiro-sama, and that I heard about the incident with Tomoko-san as well. Did she know at all? Exactly who was that man? I don't know. I don't know. Why did someone you don't know have business with you? I want to know that myself. Then what did you talk about? It was nothing to do with you guys. It was a lie. Lies! Holy cow. Rena's scream echoed through the trees, sending frightening birds into the air. I couldn't exhale the deep breath I had just taken. No, it was like I wasn't allowed to exhale. It was here I first realized. The person in front of me, she wasn't Rina Ryugi. Then who was it that was standing before me now? Who had assumed Rina Ryugi's appearance? I had held my breath for so long I couldn't feel myself suffocating. Right. And then she made a facial expression that Rena normally might have made. It didn't matter what it was Rena's usual smile. It chilled me to the bone. Oh, well, this just got... She drew me closer to me. I felt her breath against my face. It wasn't the least bit exciting. Whoever this was with Rena's face was going to chew my nose right off. I cowered as I imagined that. She then smirked as if she was able to see right through me. We also have secrets, just like how Ki-Jung-un had secrets. It was Rena's usual smile, but her eyes were still like that, a hawk's, bringing her face close enough to mine to almost bump into my nose. Oop. She kindly persuaded me. I could nod, shake my head. This person standing in front of me, this person who looked like Rena, frightened me to my core. I was terrified, knowing that she could hear the sound of me swallowing everything. I bet Alta would be more scared of her. After what I felt like an eternity. After a long, empty silence, she finally spoke. Let's go. Is that it? Just let's go. It's getting a little chilly. Oh yeah, my bones are frozen solid, you psychopath. It was Rena again, smiling at me once more. She started walking as if nothing at all had just happened, as if she hadn't just threatened me. When I was released from her gaze, my legs gave out from under me and I slumped onto the ground. I wasn't able to lift a finger until Rena was out of sight. Who was that? I felt cold. My body was drenched in sweat and other fluids. I was finally able to form a coherent thought and ask myself once again, who was that person? Who looked like Rena Ryugi? Mysteries. Solving murder at age 14. I was out of it and couldn't bring myself to do anything until dinner except stare blankly into space. Was I terrified for Mina going off on me? No, that's not right. That was someone else who only looked like Rena. Then who could it have been? It was a dreadful feeling. Knowing that that wasn't someone else, not Rena, so tomorrow I shouldn't have a problem talking to Rena like I usually do. That thought was strangely comforting. I concluded that I should just calm down and clear my head. Though those thoughts continued swirling around my mind. Finally, I returned to my senses as I heard my mother calling out to me from the bottom of the steps. Ki-chan, it's a call from the bookstore. Bookstore? Can't think of why they'd be calling me. Drat, they know I've secretly been having the cat in the hat for the past 8 years. They know I haven't paid the late fee. That's why we moved. That's my true secret. I'm the criminal. I went downstairs and picked up the receiver anyway. My apologies for calling so late at night. It's me, Oshiya of the Okinawa bookshop. Oshiya-san. Oh, it's Oshiya-san. Sorry, since your parents picked up, I said I was from the bookstore. It puts people off when I say I'm a police officer. Oshiya-san was, in his own way, rather courteous. Even so, I didn't want my parents, there we go. I didn't want my parents hearing me talking to the police. They brought the cordless phone with me as I dashed up back to my room for the second floor. Sorry for calling so late. That phone number on the piece of paper I gave you yesterday was the old number. My apologies. Can you copy down the number I'm about to give you? Ah, yeah, okay. He gave me the number for his direct line as I wrote it down. I thought that was the end of it, but he began making pointless small talk, and it was pretty hard to hang up. And so she was like, and I was like, oh my gosh, and he was like, oh my gosh, and she also, Becky, and Becky was like, no way I'd ever go out with you. Where I was like, I'm a police officer. She was like, oh my gosh, I'm so into you now, a man with a badge. So anyways, how's your day? So how's it been, Miradura-san? Did anything strange happen recently? I see. This was the real person. He really beat around the bush there. His adult conversational skills left me slack-jawed. Are you from around here, Oshiya-san? Yeah, I am. Born and raised in Okinawa. Namiya. If he's from around here, he might know. Ushi-san, do you know what this Onikigagushi thing is about? I believe that's when somebody suddenly vanishes because they've been abducted by demons. Happened to my cousin 3 doors down. It's a special saying from around here. It has the same meaning as spirited away, like everyone else says. Whereas my friends would say they didn't know when I asked, this older man gave me a direct answer. It made me a bit happy that answered me directly without trying to hide anything. Hinazawa was, not sure if I should tell you this, but Miradura-san, don't try to play this off. If you're not going to talk, then I'm not going to tell you anything. Oh, no, that's not what I meant. It's just, it may make you feel bad. You see, long ago, Hinazawa was feared as the village where demons reside. Demons? By demons, you mean those pitchfork-carrying things in hell? More like human-eating monsters. They'd go down the village, snatch up people, gobble them down, that kind of tale. Demons snatched up people is what this Okinawa really means. They said that the curse and being demoned away happened together. What does that mean? I really knew about the mystery's deaths happening 5 years in a row, but I didn't know there were people disappearing for those same 5 years. The curse and being demoned away happened together? First time I've heard of that. Is that how it is, Miradura-san? That's what I want to know. I heard Rena and Mion talking. They said that if it really Oshiya-san was cursed, then both the curse and demoning away would happen. Oshiya-san began humming, I think it was supposed to be humming, and hawing on the other end of the receiver. Maybe something about that came to mind. Miradura-san, do you know the first incident? The murder by dismemberment? Yeah, one of the 6 perpetrators is still on the run, right? Hypothetically, what if he isn't on the run but was demoned away? Huh? It was outrageous hypothesis from Oshiya-san. This incident 4 years ago was the particular ghastly one. The police already knew the perpetrators, so they posted tons of wanted posters with his face on them. They staked out various locations and investigated every possible escape route he had. But after 4 years, there wasn't even a hint of where he might be. Unless the police were completely incompetent, even if it was an outrageous hypothesis, I couldn't simply laugh it off. And what about the incident that next year, when the man who supported the project and his wife both died in an accident? Well, actually, it was only the husband who died in the accident. His wife's body never surfaced. Unless we find the body, then it's considered a missing person by law. At the time of the incident, with the river below, the cliff being muddy rapids, the police divers had searched every branch of the main stream of the river for dozens of miles, and in the end, they weren't able to find her body. But that's just them not being able to find the body. She's still dead, right? Isn't it different from her being demoned away? We cannot say someone is dead without their body. Until a certain number of years pass by law, she's treated as still alive. I'm not sure if it was right to call that being demoned away. The wife is missing. At least that part was reality. How about the 3rd year? The Shinto priest died of illness. And his wife committed suicide? Remember-san, that's actually the exact same scenario. The wife had supposedly thrown herself into the bottomless marsh deep into the forest around Hiroshima, meaning it's all circumstantial evidence. They simply found her suicide note in the front of the marsh. A diver was able to recover a few remnants, but they weren't able to find a body. The investigative headquarters believed that she had faked her death and was still alive somewhere. I'm not sure if they would call these cases as being demoned away, it's just, as you've said, every year one person does go missing. The incident this year, the woman with Tomoko-san had gone missing, and good riddance to that one. Then what about the incident with the housewife beaten to death? She went missing. I believe the perpetrator was caught, right? Yeah, we arrested him. He was just a miscreant with a record of narcissistic abuse. He admitted to the crime while being questioned about a different incident, but well, you see, after he was arrested, a child from the victim's home went missing. It's still under investigation as to whether the disappearance had anything to do with the crime. But you said you caught him, right? Did he have an accomplice? No idea, it's considered a separate case. Moreover, we can't even check now, because while under investigation, that man, he died in his holding cell. He swallowed a spork and choked it. Yeesh. How do you even... Ugh. It's not known whether it was an accident or suicide. How do you accidentally swallow a spork? It's like he's freaking, like, deep-throating the thing. Let me get all this lard off this food. Meanwhile, for the last 5 years, there's also one person who dies and one who goes missing. That's about right. No, actually, I'm surprised as well. I never realized they had that in common. You're a natural-born investigator, Kichon. I couldn't believe that this could help lead to the closing of those incidents. It was just something they had in common. Could it be that those demoned away have something in common? Usually mumbled as he seemed to be thinking about it. They all breathed oxygen, by golly, that's all connected. Kichon, you need to stop breathing right now. So I summarize the events. The first year was the damn employee. Damn employee. Second year was the wife of the damn project supporter. The third year was the wife of the Shinto priest. Fourth year was the victims of the family child, and the fifth year was the victim's girlfriend, I guess. It doesn't seem like there's anything connecting them. With the exception of the first year wives and girlfriends, those do stand out. It does seem like there are a lot. Then that means the fourth year's victim's child was different. It would have really stood out if it were all married couples, except it's not just married couples, but parents and children as well. So I want to start deciphering the mystery in these streams, but the problem is I know how it ends. I know the answers. So I don't know because there's a big clue that's sticking out to me right now. I'm this comes in later, but I'm I don't know if it's as clear, or is it just because I know how the story ends? Come to think of it, I believe Tomoko-san also told me the younger brother is alive and has moved, if I recall correctly. The child that went missing in the fourth year, who were they? Apparently he was quite mature, 1 year older than you. Never mind, it's solving it for me. And his name was Satoshi Hajio-san. Huh? Satoshi? I remember that name. Didn't they tell me Satoshi transferred out last year? He was at your school up until last year. Didn't they tell you anything about him? Come to think of it, when I transferred in, I believe they said my seat belonged to a recent transfer student. Then where I sat once belonged to the one who was demoned away. It was his seat. Gross. I recall the cold sensation that came from that desk. It made my hair stand on ends. The string of mysterious deaths, no. Oshiro-sama's curse, I knew how it connected to me. That chilling sensation, it was the feeling of Oshiro-sama's caressing the back of my neck. So it was curse, huh? Could Oshiro-sama's curse really exist? In all honesty, I was beginning to believe it, and I was scared. That was why I wanted to say it was a plot crafted by a man, not the work of a curse. But the more I dug into it, the less likely that seemed. No, the more I dug, the more mysterious it became. If I kept digging, eventually I'd reach the point where I'd learn something I really shouldn't know. To either by none the wiser, or to seek an answer I may regret, which one would I be happier with? Maybe it'll be me next time. My execution... Man, let me join Tamako-san in the afterlife. I can't go on without him. Tamako-san could only be delayed for 1 year. That was when I remembered. Rena. Rena said she may be the next victim of the curse. You mean Rena Ryugi-san? She transferred in last year, and she's your classmate, isn't she? These incidents really might be a bit too disturbing for a girl. She's not just scared, is she? It wasn't that. She said it might be her next. She said it in a way that made me think she had a concrete reason behind it. It felt like she was convinced, almost as if you could say she was frightened. Her sudden change in demeanor that someone who looked like Rena but wasn't Rena. Might be unrelated. All of the strange things that I felt from Rena today came back to me. I see. And I'll be doing a bit of investigation on this end. Please continue your observations of Higurashi Marabura-san. Go on a date. Alright, find out what's going on in there. Are you asking me to keep Rena under surveillance? That's not what I mean, Marabura-san. I mean, keep an eye on her. Do a stakeout. Buy a car. Sit out of her house for a while. That's what I do. Eat a few donuts. I don't know. I just want you to watch out for your friend so she doesn't end up the next victim. At that moment, just as my mouth was agape because I was so impressed with his mature, clever way with words. Knock, knock! At the door sent my heart racing. In an instant, I had pointlessly covered up the end of the receiver. Can you get to the door, please? On the other side of the door, I heard my father's oddly upbeat voice. What could it be? It's so late. Sorry, my dad just came in. Can you leave it at this for tonight? Yeah, my apologies again for calling so late. Make sure to return that book, though. We have you on record, you son of a bitch. If you find out anything else, please let me know. I'll tell you if I make any progress on this end. Well then, have a pleasant evening. Kichan, hurry and open up. Daddy's got his hands full. What is Dad doing? I had stayed in the same position while on the phone the whole time, so my joints were aching. Okay, that was like, what, 20 minutes? Man, you got some terrible joints, kid. When I opened the door, I saw my father was standing there with a tray. On the other tray, cookies and 2 cups of black tea, a fairly fancy spread for a household. There was even sugar and lemon slices on the side, everything you could ask for. This was quite the show of hospitality. Oh, what's going on, Dad? What's all this for? Come now, don't play around, Kichan. I'm coming in. Dad was in high spirits and had a smirk on his face. But for my entire life, I've never seen him act this hospitable. What had gotten into him? So, what were you talking about? I jumped. Huh? It's something I had to keep from my father. But how could I explain to him I was talking to a detective? I'm assuming he was, this late at night. No, nothing much. You know, just a friend, a 40-year-old friend who's 300 pounds. Carries a gun, I assume. I don't mean the phone. She was here, wasn't she? Rena-chan. Crawling on the ceiling. I wonder, she'd probably say. She wasn't here. Come now, don't try to keep it from me. She just came over to play. You two were chatting away, so I thought I'd bring some tea, but looks like I just missed her. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. She vented. I had no idea what Dad was talking about, but a cold sweat dripped down my back. I realized it was Rika on the ceiling, spitting on me. How long were we talking? Rena-chan went upstairs about half after, so it was close to an hour, I guess. You saw her come up to the 2nd floor? Yeah, I did. I also told her that your room was the door down the hall up the stairs. Rena came to my house about an hour ago. Dad met her at the door and called out to me on the 2nd floor. Probably didn't hear him because I was so focused on my conversation with Oshii-san. I didn't reply, but he knew I was in my room, so he had her come inside. Then told her my room was on the 2nd floor. She thanked my dad and went upstairs. Then about an hour passed. She passed by my dad just as we were bringing up tea and left. She came upstairs about an hour past, then passed by my dad and returned home. Then after she came upstairs and until she left, where was Rena? There's only a short hallway between my room and up the stairs. Meaning, Rena, for about an hour, in the hall. No, she couldn't have been standing in front of my door all that time. The door to my room wasn't particularly thick. You could easily hear everything being said inside. All of my ominous things and all of the nonsense I spoke to Oshino-san about began rushing through my head. Honey, don't tease him. More importantly, you need to clean up your studio. It's a mess again. Oh boy. Oh boy, I'm in trouble. Mom yelled at Dad from downstairs. Dad left the tray with me and went downstairs with a disappointed chortle. Aw, thought my son was gonna become a man today. I followed my dad out of the room with my eyes. I looked down the floor around the doorway. There Rena might have stood all this time. Just now, as I was talking to Oshio-san with my back turned, Rena was standing a mere 6 feet away the whole time. All that time in this dimly lit doorway? What did she see? What did she hear? What did she feel? What did she smell? For what reason? As the steam from the 2 teacups ominously wafted and twisted, the aroma of black tea filled my room. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. My sanctuary has been compromised, tortured, burn it all. You have received new tips notice from the police chief. View new tips. How many? Just one. Oh, we've only been going for an hour. July 1st, 1982 to Department 1 through 12. XX Prefectural Police Headquarters, Director General XXX, to the Chief Constable and all facility managers regarding cases situated in the Hiroshima Village. Notice. As cases in Shishombone City, Hiroshima Village, have been reported by certain sections of mass media. It has drawn global attention, which is causing serious repercussions for the local residents. This has become a very serious situation. To protect the livelihood... Okay. The following criminal investigation is classified. Anonymous Station, 1982, case number X. Hiroshima Village, housewife, murder, date, June XX. Akimura Station, 1982, case number X. Hiroshima Village, student's disappearance, dated June XX. Non-disclosure of information. Okinawa-sama Station, 1979, case number X. Hiroshima Village, site foreman murder, dated June XX. Shira Station, 1980, case number X. Shira's Natural Park falling incident, dated June XX. Okinawa Station, 1981, case number X. Hiroshima Village, Shinto priest wife disappearance, date June XX. Requisition self-restraint. This is a really fast from a concentration in the release of sensitive information. Please see attached references, material 1, 2, and 3, Management XX, Prefecture Police Headquarters. Internal line XXXX, Police Affairs Department XXX. That gave me all the years and months of the incidents. They all happened in June, I think. Okay, let's make a save. I need to liquid up. Oh no, I'm tiny. No, I'm back. Weariness and a headache. Not a very nice way to start the day. What's wrong, Kiichi? 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 Have I been saying it wrong this whole time? Kiichi? You don't look so well. When did you go to sleep? It seemed that my mom had noticed my sullen state. I didn't sleep, Mother. I'll never sleep again. Yesterday, I kept on waking up in the middle of the night. Without a doubt, I felt a presence. I felt the presence of someone standing in front of my door. I told myself repeatedly that it was my imagination and forced myself to try and sleep. Except, not being able to stand it, I gathered up my courage and opened the door. Of course, there wasn't anyone there. I think I did this 3 times throughout the night. Or maybe, I just didn't remember doing it any more than that. Even though I was able to get to the breakfast table without incident, I still didn't feel like it. Okay, this just reminded me of like the most traumatizing ghost event that's ever happened to me in my life. Alright, so, little side story, right? So, I was watching this show called Terra Nova, right? It's about like these portals that open up and they go to different times in history, and there's this organization that has to stop whatever's coming through it. Sometimes it's dinosaurs, sometimes it's animals from the future. And in one episode, there's this like kind of like monkey lizard that comes through that can turn invisible. Freaking terrified me when I watched it, right? So thing terrified me. So that night after I watched that episode, I was laying in my bed, right? And in my very small room, I had this blue shelf that had all my knickknacks, my little knickknack shelf, right? It just sat there, and it was like directly like my bed was against the wall, facing my closet, and there I had a shelf right there on the right side, and that shelf had been there for years, right? No one's moved it. It has stayed there firm. So that night, I'm having trouble sleeping, right? Because Terra Nova has scarred me as a kid, and I am trying to sleep, but like in my mind, for some reason, I'm thinking there's something on the shelf, right? Like I don't know why, but I'm dead staring this shelf for no joke, like an hour straight, just staring at it, going, "There's something on the shelf. There's 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 something on the shelf." And about, I say maybe like an hour and like 10 minutes into just staring at this shelf, the bugger fell off the wall. Like no joke, the whole shelf came crashing down, like breaking some of my knickknacks. Wasn't happy about that. Freaking terrified me, right? Because like, what are the chances of that freaking happening? Right? Like sturdy shelf, been there for years, and then the one time in my mind I'm thinking there's something on the shelf, it falls. The heck? I had like a few other like ghost stories in my life, but like that was. Which I guess I don't know if ghosts have anything to do with the story, but like I understand his fear. Like I think it's like maybe like the reason I like this anime so much is because like I can relate to Keichon of it. Because he's like someone was there watching me. It's just like the heck, like how does that happen? That is freaking terrifying. Except maybe if he's lucky, like if Rena's just standing there, the floor's just gonna like collapse on me. She's gonna just fall. Problem solved. I still didn't feel like these. Anyways, okay. It might be a cold. I didn't really have an appetite. My, you do seem a little warm. Well, can you make it to school? Technically, I did go to a school, but I was mostly self-study. It wouldn't matter much if I missed a day, would it? It could have been that I hadn't been feeling well for the last few days because I really did have a cold. If I took some medicine and got a good day of rest, I might be able to greet everyone with a smile tomorrow. Oh no. There goes the chance of a smile. Startled, I looked back and forth between the entrance and the clock. It was 10 minutes later than when I usually met up with Rena. It was Rena. Rena-chan came to get you. What are you going to do? Are you going to take the day off? Rena was a good girl. She might be somewhat quirky, but she was certainly cute. The lunches she made were delicious, and she always looked out for me. Why should I be so scared of something like that? It wasn't Rena's fault. It was probably mine. It had to have been my cold. It just had to be. I'll rest. Sorry. Then I'll go send her off for you. Tell her to never come back. Mom headed off to the door. I would have to pass by the entrance to get back to my room. I didn't have the nerve to meet with Rena, so I wrapped myself in a blanket on the sofa and closed my eyes. I was so sleep-deprived, I quickly fell into a deep slumber. And would I awake in the morning? All this just being a dream, I'd be back in the city. I had only intended to lie down for a little bit, but it was almost noon when I woke up. I called out to my parents, but they didn't seem to be around. On the table, I found lunch prepared and a note. Mom and Dad had apparently driven off to somewhere far away. It likely had to do with Dad's work. This happens every so often, so it wasn't that unusual. They would probably be back sometimes after dinner. On the note, it said, "The insurance card is in the cabinet. Take it and go to the hospital." It's not that bad. I've never in my life had to, like, go to the hospital for, like, a sickness. Like, I hear people who, like, go for, like, the most basic stuff sometimes. I'm like, no. Fluids, rest, and Return of the King. Time-proven method of curing all diseases. You could have straight-up terminal cancer, and all you need is that, and you'd be good to go. You'd be charging the field of orcs as a strongman after that. You think I joke about this, but that's literally my family's, like, cure-all method. There was also a well-drawn map to the hospital. I'm just like some like stick figures and like almost like a straight line to like this little like circle with like an H on it. Like go here. There's a little doctor with a gurney. That's right. I hadn't been there before, so I didn't know exactly where it was. I had a light lunch, although it really was just leftovers from the morning, and just in case, went to the hospital. Hey, Doc, is there any like some sort of disease that makes your friends want to kill you? Normally, I'd never be here in the middle of the weekend. Just walking around like this had me feeling guilty. It was an odd feeling. Following my mom's Mac, I took a road usually never used. After walking for a bit, the hospital's sign came into view. Erie Clinic was written rather stylishly on the sign. The clinic wasn't very big, but based on the scale of the rest of Hiwazama, it was far too grand. There was a parking lot, even a reserved spot for buses. They must be making a mint. I spaced out in the air-conditioned waiting room until it was my turn to be seen. Represent, please make your way to the examination room. Oh boy, examinations. Do. After properly answering all of the chatty doctor's questions, he responded with the old, "Yeah, it's probably just a cold. That'll be $200. They gave me a shot and 3 days worth of medicine. I thought it was a little overboard, but it was clear away the gloomy feeling I'd been having lately. Then it was worth it. We just inject you with straight dopamine." It makes most people smile. I sold the bill and took a quick trip to the washroom. As I was leaving, I overheard a conversation between more elderly people who seemed to be regulars at the clinic. Of course, I had no intention of eavesdropping, but you did, didn't you? Oh, hello, Tucson. Welcome to the stream, and thank you for stopping by. See, I had no intention of eavesdropping if it wasn't for the word. How's your day been? Yep. Must have been Oniki Kuwashi. I wonder. She was still pretty young. Might have just eloped. With whom? That man from Tokyo who visited every season. Oh, no. Yeah, he's dead. That young one with the big camera. The big camera and the big package. Oh, well, didn't you know they were getting along pretty well? I thought we were getting along pretty well. Were they talking about Tamaka-san? Have you ever seen this game? Tucson, or the anime? It's freaking fantastic, and I'm playing the game now. I want to play it all, and then there's actually, I think, 2 other games after this one. And unfortunately, the second anime never finished. So I actually don't know how that one ends, so I can actually do that one with proper investigation. And then, like, the newest one, I think actually came out maybe this year? I know nothing about it, so I definitely want to check that out. Were they talking about Tamako-san? I could feel my ears perking. I don't know about that. Oh wait, these old people. But you have to make preparations before you elope. Leave a note to quit the job or something. Don't leave a bloody corpse like she did. It's an elope because they didn't leave a note or message, you fool. Oh, the Alzheimer's are getting to you. Oh, the thought that I'd never see that young nurse's face again makes me rather sad. Tamako-san is upstanding young Tanaka-no-san is an upstanding young woman. I doubt that, stealing my man. She'll be fine wherever she goes. So her name was Tanaka-no-san. That woman with Tanaka-san, and she worked at this clinic? It's all makes sense now. The dopamine injection, the flu, it's all the doctor. Shimazone's shadow was following me everywhere I went. I started listening more closely, but they began talking about fishing, and it didn't seem like they were going to revisit the topic. I gave up and left. Thus, even though I was separated from the daily monotony of the school, I wasn't able to escape from Oshiro-sama's shadow. But of course, Oshiro-sama was the guardian deity of this place, of Hiwazama. As long as I was in Hiwazama, I wouldn't be able to escape. I'll never be safe. Never. Dang, this is some chill music, though. Ah, it's ruined by the bugs. Maybe it was because I was walking outside, but my appetite had suddenly returned. I craved human flesh for some reason. Weird. I might as well buy a snack with the change from the examination fee on the way home. Contemplating that, I turned onto a familiar street. Also, Tucson, you missed a pretty intense moment of about 20 minutes ago. That was cool. It was a cool scene. I liked it. Terrifying, but cool. At that moment, I heard a car horn abruptly honk behind me. Was I really walking so far into the middle of the road? Where did I be in the car's way? I moved farther off to the side, but the horn was still honking at me, and I turned around and peeved. Marabu-san! Good day to you! It was Oshia-san. He stepped out of his car, AC on full blast, and waved at me. What's up today? School on break? Just not feeling well, so I took the day off. I was about to buy lunch and head back home. Well, that's great! I'm just about to get lunch myself. Would you mind going together? That seems a little bit inappropriate, but oh, sure. Oh, you're not feeling up for it, then don't mind. I was just going to lie down after going home anyways. Might as well get this old man sick. And it didn't really have a cold. I doubt you'd want to eat at one of those local places. Let's go into town! My treat is a bit of a drive. Is that alright? I know it's a pretty good place. I'd finally begun to understand Oshiro-sama's roundabout way of saying things. He probably wanted to talk to me about stuff that would be difficult to discuss while in Hirozama. Man, he's a jolly old soul, though. It's like reminds me of Post-Buried Doughboy. I went with Oshiro-san riding in his frigid car. It was almost as if the bright sunlight outside was a lie. I'm sorry about calling you so late last night. Did your parents get angry at you? No, I recalled Rena, who had been listening to the phone conversation all that time, separated from me by just the door. Even now, in the brightness of the sunlight, the thought still creeped me out. With a big bump that jolted the car, the road connecting to the city changed from dirt to pavement. My head swerved back with a sudden realization. That's right. I'm in some stranger's car. What am I thinking? This is where Tamako-san died. They've hit a snag on the investigation of Tamako-san. Yoshio spoke while peering at me from the corner of his eye. They believed it was caused by hallucinogens, given how he was clawing out his own throat. But a drug that could cause that to happen so suddenly is extremely hard to come by. Bear in mind, of course, the autopsy was done with that premise in mind, but we didn't find any leads. You know that thing you see in comics all the time? Where there's a drug that if you put it in, then it doesn't leave any traces? It exists. Suicidal succinylacol, something or other. Well, it's pretty common, actually. In fact, here's some. Want to try it? Injection. You'll be dead in 30 minutes and no one will know. But you see, there doesn't seem to be any kind of drug that would cause Tamako-san to react like that. Then you're saying the police concluded Tamako-san just died from the curse? I couldn't help but feel that the police were worthless. I just wanted the idea of a curse being disassociated from Tamako-san's mysterious death. Unfortunately, that's how it looks right now. But putting aside the cause of death, without doubt, he was surrounded by a group of people and had taken a beating before he died. That was no curse, but an incident that unquestionably involved other humans. That made me a bit relieved. Oh, thank goodness, it's just a gang with hallucinogenic drugs running around. Whew. That's a relief. Who keeps texting me? Announcements. We passed in front of a rather desolate but still busier than Hirozama train station. Stream will be starting in 10 minutes. Blame work schedule. Okay, so that's just a notification from another streamer. We passed in front of a rather desolated parking lot, and I followed Oshima into the shop. Move my mic over. Ah, yay! Back to the happy music. It was pretty crowded, but there were only adults at this hour. Of course, there wouldn't be children in here in the middle of the weekday. 2, please. Non-smoking. This way, please. When you are ready to order, please call me over. We were led by a peculiarly dressed waitress to our table. I sat with Oshima in the booth. So, what do you think? Aren't the waitress outfits here cute? Huh? Well, I guess. The shop is always quite busy. It's more about the waitresses than the food, you see. Huh. Oshiro-san, you're leering. Hmm? Am I really? Preposterous. Wait a second. Is this what I think it is? Is this a certain shop I remember? Regardless of how the waitresses looked, the food was decent enough. And I haven't eaten lunch. Breadsticks, meat and soup. That looks good. I want it. Okay, I'm back. Finishing our meals while talking about some inane topics. And just after a meal cup of coffee arrived on the table. Yesterday we talked about Hirozama's past, didn't we? Yeah, that it was the village of man-eating demons or something like that. I didn't know much about it myself, so I asked my grandmother about it this morning. Oshizon took out the notepad that was stuffed into his breast pocket. Turns out the Hirozama used to be called Onigafuji, or Ogre's Abyss. Onigafuji. That's quite the name. The name is still around. The marsh where the Shinto priest's wife drowned herself is still called the Ogre's Abyss. That's also my stripper name, but that's a trade secret. It's said that the depths of that marsh connect to the realm of the demons. Of course, nobody had told me anything about such an ominous marsh. Yeah, you have. Like, multiple times people have mentioned this marsh. And you see, it appears they were both feared and revered. A respect born of fear and of tear. I guess you could say it was kind of deification. A village of inhuman creatures. Seems the demons were Sinin or mountain-dwelling mystics of sorts. Taking villages with incurable illnesses into the Ogre's Abyss and healing them, for example. Even if we were calling them demons, Tengu long-nosed goblins or Sinus would be more adept description. They don't seem like such a terrible people even though they were called demons, but they were still man-eating demons. According to the story my grandma told me, as payment for treating the son's illnesses, let us eat the mother who brought him here. Was apparently how the things went. Ah, interesting. This is like the trade-off for meme. You receive healing, I receive your mother. Oh, the price of curing her son was herself? That's unsettling. Of course the mother took her son and ran. Then, you see, all the people who lived in Onigafuchi, the demons chased them down, rounded them up, and captured them. Should have paid the price, ma'am. The entire village, apparently. That's quite a frightening thing to imagine. In the end, it seems both the mother and son were caught and eaten. The end. Well, enjoy eating your food now, kid. There's a problem with this story. Both witnesses in this story were eaten, so nobody would be able to tell the tale. Huh! There are plenty of old fables like this. In contrast to the ghastly tale, Oshia-san laughed, hardly with a sipping his coffee. But, well, there are quite a few other tales, where the demons from Ogigafu banded together to capture their prey. I recall Myun said that the village united and fought against the dam construction. I saw similarities within how the parts about unification overlapped. Normally they hunted down a single person and they chose who it was going to be beforehand. Huh? That caught my attention. Oshi-san apparently to be pondered what it meant. My grandmother told me that you must never interfere with the demon's hunt. You should just hole up in your house and hide under the covers, she said. So what does this all mean? It means you must have helped or protect the prey. As long as you don't disturb the demon's hunt, no harm will fall upon the villagers. It seems that's the kind of rule. Basically, don't help the victims. Pretend you didn't see the atrocities, in other words. Oh, so that's why everyone in the town ignores these things. What happens if you break the rule? Well, they're man-eating demons after all. Many parts of that tale caught my attention. Parts of the story he told me overlapped with his theory that the perpetrators were all the village families. Even if it wasn't the whole village, it was conceivable that the villagers were hiding under the covers and leaving them to die. When there's a group that was on their own, hunt wasn't it. It didn't dare speak it. Then Usha-san, I guess it looks like it's either the village families or a group of villagers perpetrating the crimes? What do you think, Mirabar-san? Ah, excuse me, another cup of coffee, please. And one for the boy, he might need it. Welcome to adulthood, Sonny. That's what I want to know. It seems that we were both waiting for the others to say the last part. I waited for the waitress to finish pouring coffee before speaking. Last year, I had a nagging feeling when Satakishi-kun disappeared. Oishi-san muttered as he watched the milk swirl around in his coffee. To those friends of Satoshi-san, meaning your group of friends, Mirabu-san, I had a bit, really just a bit, okay, of background checking done on them. If Oshi had said this to me before, I would have been furious since he told me earlier not to suspect my friends, but I couldn't. This might sound pretty stupid, Mirio-san. If you feel that it's stupid, please say so. I'll just stop. Oshi-san was wearing the most serious expression that I'd ever seen from him. It was as if he was telling me to prepare myself and listen. There were quite a few things I regretted hearing from Ueshidan, but none of them were as threatening as this. A little voice inside me was screaming like an alarm. Stop, Kichan. This was probably the last one. I took a deep breath and silenced the voice with a karate chop. Just mental karate chop. I would not run from the truth, for I am truth. Please. 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 That was all I could utter. Oishi stared into my eyes. And silently for a few moments after he was certain I was ready, he began. The victim of the incident in the first year was the overseer. A few weeks prior, he had an altercation with Mion Sonzaki-san. Multiple altercations. Ushi-san had said before that Mion had defied the dam production virulently. Well, it wasn't hard to imagine how she'd be if he got worked up. In the second year, the married couple who supported the project died in that accident, right? They had a daughter. Her name is Satoku Horoji-san. Huh? Satoku meaning Satoko, the one who tortures me every day? Sen told me that my voice was too loud. I realized it was quickly quieted down. The Shinto priest and his wife who died in the third year, you see. Their daughter is Rika Furu-san. Rika-chan was the housewife who died in the fourth year. You know already, don't you? It was the step-aunt of Satoku Hoju-san. She was in her aunt and uncle's custody, as she had lost both parents in the accident. She lived in the victim's house. I could tell my lips were getting dry. Well, there's some water right there, buddy. You can just drink that. I didn't even have the wits to keep my mouth from hanging agape. I had thought it was nothing but a bizarre incident, one that I could easily distance myself from. But clicking and clacking, it had snuck all the way to my feet. The one who disappeared the fourth year, by the way. He was Satoko-san's older brother. Just wait a second. It took everything I had to finally say that. I gulped down a glass of water and once again wiped my face with a napkin. Calm down, Kichi-san. Keep it together, man. Keep it together. Keep your cool. But Kichi-san was relentless. Instead of waiting for me to finish sorting out my feelings, he started speaking again. The last of the things I shouldn't have heard. All of the victims seem to be connected to your group of friends. That has to just be a coincidence. Mabu-san, keep it down. And there's no such thing as coincidence. Your friends are murderers, eh? Everyone's looking. Mion, Satoku-chan, Rika-chan? So what if they're connected? You're telling me all of my friends. It couldn't be. It just couldn't be. Oh, Rena is different, isn't she? Rena isn't connected with the victims at all. Rena Reiki was living in a suburb of Ikubari Prefecture up until last year. Well, it's true she hadn't directly met any of the victims. He said it in a roundabout way. Is he saying she's also connected? Actually, I looked into her before Regyu-san moved away to Hiroshima. She was suspended from school. It seems she went through her school building and broke all of the windows. Rena did that? She broke all the windows at her school? That same silly Rena had? I couldn't even imagine it. It seems that after her 3-day suspension, she didn't return to school. She went to a neurologist and was diagnosed with dysautonomia. She was given weeks of counseling and medication. I wonder if it was something like a nervous breakdown. I'd heard that it happens to people who are really methodical or overly sensitive. Neither of those matched Rena's easygoing personality. And in the counselor's medical report, he recalled all the conversations he had with Rena-san. It shows up, and quite a bit that... What did? I pressed forward carelessly. There couldn't be anything more for me to regret. She's mentioned the word Oyashiro-sama. Bum, bum, bum. It felt like something stone cold had caressed my back. Why had Rena spoken of Oyashiro-sama before she'd even come to Hiroshima? Seems that Oyashiro-sama she spoke of like a ghost appearing in her house every night. standing over her pillow, looking down at her. My mind froze. I couldn't process what I was being told. A while after that, she moved to Higurashi. That's right. She's not an outsider. Huh? According to their residence registry, the Rigiri family used to reside in Higurashi. Rena-san moved to Iwabaka right after she finished elementary school. My mind went completely blank. It was similar to the static you'd see on a blank TV channel. My ears began ringing as I lost the sense of comprehension. Mirabel-san, are you alright? Shall we stop? More. Those words brought me back. I couldn't let it end here. Now I understand, Rena. Then how about the last victim, Tomiko-san? Who was he connected with? Irritated, I let out one final reprisal. All of them! Have you forgotten, Mirabel-san? Didn't you all spend the night of the festival together quite merrily? Quite a few of the officers saw you enjoying yourselves. Now there was nothing I could respond with. I fell silent as my brain turned to mush. We should get going. Mirabel-san, did you take your afternoon medicine? I had completely forgotten about the medicine I had gotten today until Urashima said that. I got another glass of water and we left the shop after I chugged it down. How do you know about my medicine? We got in the car and returned to Higurashi via the rough road. I never really paid attention when I was on my bike, but did cars normally shake this much? It was almost as if the road was desperately trying to tell me something. Get out, get out, get out, get out, get out. The big jolt was from the different elevations of the road when it changing from cement to dirt. I was certain that I heard Tomiko-san scream. I sat in silence, just letting myself be shaken by the car. I'll drop you off at your house. You missed school because you were ill, correct? My apologies for the long conversation. Why did you talk to me? I blurted out with the question. Really just blurted it out. I didn't expect an answer. I did check with you first, didn't I? If we should just stop. Not that. Why did you reach out to me? I understand quite well that Oshio-sama was investigating the string of suspicious incidents, but why was he telling me all this? I knew nothing and couldn't help. Everything Oshio-sama spoke of was news to me. First of all, what could I, having just moved here, know? By chance, if there was a reason for Oshima-san to reach out to me, then it would have to be that I looked suspicious to Oshima-san, as I was part of Mion's circle of friends. I'm retiring this year. I plan on moving away after retiring as my grandma wants. So while I'm still on the case, I want to bring the truth behind this incident to light. So Oshima-san, you suspect them, don't you? All of them. Oshima didn't really give a response. It felt a little late, but I thought it was a way of showing a bit of consideration for my feelings. This is mostly my intuition from 30 years on the job. Ribu-san, you are the one in danger. Huh? I want to apply that. Oh, it's absurd. I'm yawning again. Absurd, but in my downtrodden state, I couldn't bring myself to say it. I'll be retiring this year, so I won't be at the Watangoshi next year. So I want to settle things. In other words, he was insinuating that on the next Watangoshi, I might be the victim. I've been warned by the chief as well. Each incident in the string of cases has been solved, so don't bring it up again, or so I was told. This is the pressure that I'm facing. Pressure from what? Someone in Hiroshima. We have arrived. Is this fine? Oh, so someone's putting pressure on the police. After some time, the car finally reached the path to my house. The clock read 2 p.m. I was surprised so little time had passed since we ate. It was hot outside the car. The chirping of the Higurashis hurt my ears. I won't mind if you just forgot everything I told you today, but I'm still going to keep investigating. I'll end Oshima's curse this year. So you're saying I should contact you if anything happens? It's fine. Just contact me when you feel you have to, Mirabura-san. I wasn't collecting enough to understand. Oh, my neck's getting tight. All this reading strangely makes me tired. I wasn't collecting enough to understand Oshima-sama's roundabout way of saying it. Be sure to take it easy. I'm sorry for throwing all this at you while you're taking the day off because you're sick. I didn't really give any sort of response. I'll always be on your side. If anything, believe that. I'll be off for now. The tires crunched over the dirt and dirt road as the car made a U-turn and disappeared into the cloud kicked up dust. It felt like I was watching a boat only to throw me a lifesaver in a shark-infested waters before disappearing into the distance. That was the first time I thought Oshiro-san was being unfair, telling me I was going to be the next victim, then just saying to contact him if something happens. Well, good luck, kiddo. This wasn't a criminal investigation. He was fishing, and I was just the bait dangling off the line. Would the fish be the perpetrator, or was it really just Oshiro-sama's curse? Either way, the bait would be swallowed whole. Darn it, I didn't want to die. For some time, I couldn't do nothing but stare at the puddle of water left behind by the AC from the car. Dang, this is good. It's been so long since I've heard the story. So at least watched the anime. So I'm like, it's all coming back. This is so cool. Like, there's so much more to this game. Like, we're not even like scraping the surface here. I wonder how much time has passed since I laid down. It was getting dark outside. My body was soaked in sweat. It would probably be a good idea to change my sheets. At that moment, the phone downstairs rang. It was probably Mom. Mom was quite the worrywart. Maybe she had called many times, but I just didn't notice. Hello, this is Marbury residence. Oh, hey, he's alive. Hello, this is Myon. How you doing? This is one of Kichon's friends? Kichon is resting now, but shall I put him on? Huh? Is this his dad? So sorry. Idiot. You fell for it. Huh? Kichon! After our exchange, we both had a good laugh together. Yet I was suspicious of her even as we were laughing. Was everybody really involved in this incident? The fact that I couldn't say no saddened me. I'm relieved that you seem well. Rena was really worried, you know. Suga-san was happy and said you got what you deserved. Rika-chan said, how unfortunate he's sick. Sure she did. Hey, looks like everyone was making a big deal out of it. So Ki-chan, is now a bad time to come pay you a visit? A visit? No, it's okay. It's not like I'm dying. My grandma made a ton of mochi, you see. I was told to share them. So I'll bring you some. Hey now, you'll catch my cold. Not to worry, both Rena and I are too stupid to catch a cold. See ya. Be there in a bit. She hung up cheerfully. Rena's coming too? Oh no. That's what it sounded like. I was still concerned about meeting Rena, but I guess if she was with Myon, I should be safe. I'm safe. I'm with friends. I am good. I got my shot. I am invulnerable. I heard the doorbell 10 minutes later, not 10 times. I got a bunch of Amazon packages. How are you feeling? Did you take your medicine and rest? I did just that. Thank goodness you look well. I was worried. Sorry, I'll be fine by tomorrow. Myon showed a complete lack of concern for someone who's recovering, and Rena looked like she was worried about me from the bottom of her heart. Her tiny, dark, black, roach-infested heart. I didn't look like there was anything behind those expressions. Wow, I just inhaled and choked on air. The ghost has come back for vengeance I was talking about. I thought we might hang out for a little bit, but it looks like you're not quite in the condition for it. You don't say. You don't. See, my face appeared a bit sullen. Then here, Kichan-kun, these are the mochi Myon's grandma made. Rena held out the package wrapped in newspaper. There might be about 5 in here. It was quite hefty. Thanks. Send me regards to your grandma, Myon. Yep, there's one that I made in there as well. I wonder if Kichan can guess which one. This is Kichan's homework since he missed the club meeting today. There are letters on each mochi, so I'll ask you tomorrow. Were you checking if I were feeling better, or did you just come here for club activities? Yep. Looking fine. Guess you'll be able to make it tomorrow? Man, what are you going to do if your fever comes back because of your shenanigans? Myon, we shouldn't be making such a racket. Let's go. The other people here will get angry. Both of them thought my parents were home. It was because the entranceway was a mess. You're right, let's get going. Ah, by the way, Kichan-kun. Kichan. Yep. What the Oh no. Oh no. The eyes. They're back. What did you eat for lunch? That sudden question startled me, and I went wide-eyed when I saw Myun. I had never seen her like that. It was a highly unsettling visage. But why is she asking me what I ate for lunch? What she said was so insane, it was almost meaningless. The way she said it was almost like she didn't even care all about what I ate. I ate out? She must have suspected that I was with Oishi-san. Anyway, I felt that if I hesitated, tried to change the subject, then they'd read too deeply into it. So I tried answering as quickly as possible. Wendy's! Except contrary to the efforts I had made, there was a pause before they replied. Uh-oh. Oh no. Okay, we're back with the eyes. So you ate out for lunch, Kichan-kun. The glimmer from Rena's eyes had changed at some point as well. It was now sharp, as if it made me feel the feigned ignorance behind her words even more. As if she already knew. That's how it looked to me. Well, was it good? Up on the server, coward? I'm streaming, alright? And I have class in 30 minutes. Besides, this is getting really good, alright? I ain't jumping on the server right now. This is too good. Freaking loving this story. Asking me this. Myun was speaking in an unusually low tone. Almost as if she knew that I had eaten at the restaurant in town. No, I'm overthinking this. I mean, both of them should have been in school at lunchtime. There was no way they could have known where I was. Seems you were a rather austere-looking older guy. Who was he? Briefly called your guy. I'm not Flop. The package with the mochi I was holding slipped out of my hands. I could tell the blood had drained from my face, making me go pale. Oh, Kichan-chu, who was he? Could it be that person from before, I wonder? I could feel the back of my throat going dry. This was no longer a bluff. They knew everything. How do you know that? It took everything I had to finally force those words from my throat. My knees were shaken. Because there's nothing this old man doesn't know. Myun sneered knowingly. Her laugh seemed to carry on for a ha 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 ha. So, Kichan, what did you talk about? Ow, that one actually hurt. I'm trying to do like the crazy twitch, but oh man, that one, that jerk, ow. It seems like you got pretty worked up over it. Well, we weren't talking about you guys. It didn't have anything to do with you or Rena. Isn't it a bit strange to hear our names come up even though nobody asked about them? His unwavering gaze pierced through my eyes and peered further inside me. I dug my own grave. My heart was throbbing so much it felt like it was going to explode. Well, whatever you're trying to hide, this old man always sees through it all. Remember that. I couldn't even shake my head. It took everything I had to stop my teeth from trying. Get a hold of yourself, Kichan! Be a man! She never let her gaze break from mine, even as she tilted her head slightly. How far can I tilt mine? Okay, that's about as far as I can go. You don't look so good. I think you should lie down. That's true, we should both head back home. Why did her outline just get bigger? As if nothing had happened, they both giggled at each other and started making their way. And left. I hadn't moved a muscle since I had dropped the package of mochi. As they left, the door slowly closed behind them. All I could do was stare, as if I couldn't move until the door was completely closed. Just as the door was just about to close, it opened again slightly with a sudden creak, sending my heart racing once again. A single eye peered in through a narrow slit, and Myun's hawk gaze peered through at me. See you, Kichan. Yeah, see you later, alligator. I'd hate if you missed school tomorrow, alright? Thud. Oh, I didn't even realize the door was open. I thought that was... Whoa. Thud, the door closed. I wasn't able to move a muscle, even after the low laughter died off into the distance and silence once again in the room. Psychopaths. Coming back to my sense, the first thing I did was lock the door. They knew what Oshiro-san and I talked about. Why? How? No, that wasn't important. Thinking about it now, all of it could have been overheard from the beginning when Oshiro-san met me. Just as Myun said, I couldn't hide anything. Then what were they trying to tell me? That part was obvious. They were warning me not to say anything unnecessary. What did they deem unnecessary? I only talked with Oshiro-san about one thing, and they were warning me that was unnecessary. What was it that Oshiro-san talked to me about? The incidents involving Oshiro-sama's curse that occurred every year weren't individual cases, but were connected as a whole, as well as the fact they may be multiple perpetrators hidden within Hirozama. No, more precisely, that Myon, Rena, Sotoko, and Rika-chan were all suspicious. Is that what they were warning me against? What kind of nonsense am I thinking about? I hit my own face hard enough that it let out a loud slap. Ow, that one actually hurt. It was only that would wake me from the nightmare, but for some reason it felt like I was punching a blanket. I was almost laughably painless. Calm down, Kichan Murper. When did I become such a pessimist? You got this, man. Stay calm, breathe deep, calm down, settle down and sort things out. The reason Myun knew I was eating lunch with Onishi was probably because somebody from Hirozama just happened to be there at that time. They must have told Myun that I was there. That made the most sense. Plus, come to think of it, she didn't ask me where I ate lunch, did she? She only asked, was it good? They were just curious since I was together with someone not from Hirozama. It's not as if they had any ulterior motives. That's it. That has to be it. Thinking about it that way, it was the same with Rena. I was just being strangely ambiguous about when I met with Oshiro-sama, and Rena was just correcting me on that. That's when I was bewildered by the change in character from the usual mild-mannered Rena, and was just startled by it. That's the most natural way of thinking about it. It felt like my mind was mixed up like a tangled mess of spaghetti. Deep red marinara sauce and blood would have poured out of my nose and ears if it squeezed my head. I could have just said blood, I think, at that point. I suddenly felt like vomiting. I really didn't want that to happen, so I stopped holding my head. Lately, I had no idea what anyone was saying. Spending time with them was fun. It didn't feel like there was any sort of hidden agenda. I really do think that they're a good bunch of people. When I just moved here and couldn't make heads or tails of everything, they were really kind to me. Rena was really kind and always looked after me. As long as that strange affliction didn't rear its ugly head, she was really pretty cute. Myun is also, yeah, she's cute. She can't be a murderer if she's cute. It's just basic sense. Myun is also a really good person. She didn't care about anyone's age or gender and was optimistic and outgoing. I was never bored and when I was with her. And talking of not getting bored, rambunctious Sotoko was a good person for that too. She was pretty bratty, but that was just the way she interacted with others. Rika-chan was the same way. She did the same thing to Rena. She didn't speak often, but that didn't mean she was always silent. They're my friends. But after hearing the better untold secrets of Hirozama from Oshima-san and Tamako-san, when I was told about Oshiro-san, this is a lot of words, Tom's cursed things started going crazy. Then hearing from Oshiro-san that Myun, Rena, Sotoko, Rika were all suspicious. After that, everyone changed. That's right. It's all started getting weird after Ushino-san told me all that strange stuff. At that time, I really should have just not listened to those weird stories, and I even shouldn't have heard about the past incidents from Tamako-san the night of the Watangashi. If I just hadn't gotten that strange sense of curiosity, if I just hadn't. That's right. So that's why they K-I-L-L-illed. I don't know why they would censor that. Killed Tamako-san. That impudent. Why would that be censored out? Is this supposed to be like a hint? Speaking to the likes of me, everyone went out of their way to keep it a secret from me. Why is this? They'll probably... Yeah, so it's sensing the word kill for some reason. We're trying to unearth what everyone was warning me was better left buried. Besides that, he was unforgivable for spewing words that made me doubt the others. Of course, a guy like that is going to be killed. Both Tomoka-san and Oshima-san were nothing but outsiders after all. They were entitled who couldn't coexist with people or Himazama. Those guys just fall to Oshima-sama's curse and just die. It wasn't their fault. It was my fault for not being able to hold back my curiosity. It wasn't their fault. It wasn't their fault. It was... Oh, they missed... It wasn't their fault. 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 It wasn't... I think I'm going insane now. I sold into a daze. It was a lethargic feeling like I just gotten up, but the ominous chill that haunted me was subsided. I was fine now. I was no longer frightened. I had completely recovered. I'll go to school tomorrow, right as rain. I'll greet everyone. I'll take part in club activities. It'll definitely be fun. It has to be fun. It was one of them, after all. Ah, that reminds me. I needed to eat those mochi, the ones you dropped on the floor. I hope I'm able to tell which ones Rena made. I remember the homework the two brought with them when they visited me. But wow, our club did deliver. That was something else. I picked up the packages I dropped on the floor and headed into the living room. It would be nice, I guess, to have some tea with it. So to fill my mouth with mochi while drinking tea. Oh, this was quite delicate situation. I was opening up the newspaper wrapping. There were 5 plump red bean paste mochi fit snugly inside. There were letters written from left to right on the newspaper A, B, C, D, and E. Now then, they said Rena made one of these. I wonder which one. There wasn't much difference in how they looked. They smelled and appeared about the same. This was a pretty difficult problem. The biggest difference was probably their shape. I wasn't sure what kind of person Mion's grandma was, but Rena had to be different from hers. Looking carefully, I could see one mochi that was made very neatly. Alright, let's get rid of these emotions there. So, well, that just by staring at it, one could tell it stood out. Looks like this challenge depends on whether or not this one is Rena's. Calm down and think even harder. Mion had said her grandma made a ton of them, and was told to give some out, if I remembered correctly. So that means 4 of these were from that large batch. Then what about Rena? She probably only made 1, so she probably spent quite a bit of time on it, meaning the one Rena had made was this one, E. For a moment I thought it may have been a trap Mion laid, as she knew I'd pick up on it, but that probably wasn't the case. I wouldn't be so sure if I knew Mion had made it, but since she said Rena made it, it probably wasn't a trap. Alright. My tea is ready too. I'll start with the defeating champ Mion's grandma. Let's see. Not bad. The smooth bean paste, soft chewy texture left a little to be desired. The tea I drank afterwards also accentuated the experience. This was an exquisite piece of work. Excellent job. You are not a donkey turd, as the great Ramses would say. Now, how about Rena's? The creation was so delicate, one would think it was a high-class Japanese dessert. Since I normally had quite the appetite, I was slightly worried about the size of the portion. But, well, first a bite. This was quite a difficult one to judge, actually. The ingredients were exactly the same, so there was little difference in flavor. What was different was how it was shaped at the end, so it was to be expected. So the deciding factor would be presentation and volume. The well-formed and well-sized champ. I'm just waiting for something to happen. The size, you just couldn't get enough of it. I'd only had 1 bite of Rena's. I would probably have to wait until after I was done eating to make my decision. Maybe there was something hidden inside that could cause an upset. Chew. Seems my prediction was right. My tongue touched something. It didn't feel like something edible, so I reached in with my finger and grabbed it. What? What was this? Before I could fully comprehend what it was, I threw away the rest of the mochi I was eating as fast as I could. It slammed against the wall, causing the bean jam to splatter. Then, after sticking for a moment, it slid down to the floor. I was dumbstruck by my own action. What was I doing? Rena had gone out of her way to make it for me. How could I? Dumbstruck, I looked down at the hand that performed such a vile act, then remembered what I had taken out of my mouth. At first, I thought it was a hair. Even though it was shorter than Rena's hair, was still quite long, and it wasn't this short. It was also a bit too hard to be hair. It was thick enough to roll around in my tongue. There was a bit of a metallic sheen on one end. With it, yes, there was a hole for where a thread goes through, like it was a sewing needle. Yes, that's right. It looked very much like a sewing needle, exactly like one. The end was pointed as well, quite sharply. It really did look just like a sewing needle. Huh? What do I mean by it looked very much like a sewing needle just a bit ago? I couldn't answer. But a voice inside me already knew and let me know by chattering my molars together. I couldn't stave off the terror welling up inside me. Suddenly, I tasted something metallic and left a prickling pain in the back of my throat. I stuck my finger in the back of my mouth and felt around to see if I was bleeding. Suddenly, I felt the urge to vomit. The sharp taste of bile irritated the back of my throat. I clasped both hands over my mouth, and, writhing in agony, I was somehow able to hold it back, the nausea. I was finally able to breathe normally, but this time my heart was intensely throbbing. Then it finally registered exactly what was mixed in with the mochi. Before I could think of the correct words, my hands were already on the move. Slap! Plop! Splort! I tossed the rest of the mochi against the wall. The geometrical patterns of the scattered bean jam on the wall suddenly invoked a terrible omen in my mind. After looking away, I dashed out of the hall and flew upstairs to my room, where I stayed under my covers until morning. I clutched my own shoulders, howling madly in a mix of fear, anger, sadness, and frustration. This wasn't a threat, warning, or reminder, nothing as simple as that. What had happened in Hiroshima? What is happening in Hiroshima? What would happen? I didn't know the answer to any of those questions. Where did I break a taboo? Regardless, now Rena and Mion and the others, they considered me an enemy? And they thought I should just die? I won't let you kill me. Not for such a pointless reason. I fell into a restless sleep as I was crushed by my negative emotions. It was as if I was being drawn into a billowing, bottomless marsh. Frickin' cowards putting needles in my meatloaf, or whatever mochi is, I'm not sure. I don't know. When I imagine mochi, I imagine meatloaf. Don't know why. Because it's strictly like bean jam or something? I'm not even sure what that is. Whew. This is an intense episode. You've received new tips. What's in... Oh. A threat. Alright. Let's read these notes, and then I think I'll call the episode this stream here. Let's cut to the chase. Is there a drug that causes someone to kill themselves? Not directly, no. That's quite a roundabout response. You're saying there's one that does it indirectly? Something that puts you into a suicidal mental state like that. That's hard to say. What would a suicidal mental state be? Like a person with a serious bipolar disorder. It's believed that people are most likely to attempt suicide when swinging from depression to mania. Clinical depression and bipolar disorder are different. Clinical depression indicates a prolonged state of depression, whereas bipolar disorder is characterized by a passive depressive state accompanied by a very active manic state. Individuals with clinical depression suffer from low self-esteem and are quite pessimistic, but rarely commit suicide. They do not have the willpower to commit suicide, nor does mania on its own lead to suicide. That has an opposite effect, filling the person with confidence and making them feel as though they're walking on air. Thus, they do not commit suicide. That's interesting. Neither state causes suicide, but when the condition changes, they might do so. There is a desire to commit suicide when in a state of depression, but they do not have the willpower to commit such a formidable act. But when they have entered mania, they gain a burst of willpower and their body moves as they desire. I see. So it means they gain the willpower to commit suicide. That's how it goes. That's why the patients are given sedatives during that time to keep them from acting on their impulses. Then was Tamaka bipolar? People who suffer from bipolar disorder generally commit suicide. This is going to give me so much trouble on Twitch for saying all these words. Commit suicide for more civilized means, like they say hanging or jumping off a building. Self-harm as though going through withdrawal is completely different. Tungo-san's death wasn't civilized, so one would think it was caused by some foreign substance. As I said from the start, tell me of a drug that causes someone to commit suicide. Well, there are reports that methamphetamine overdoses produce a condition that resembles bipolar disorder. It's a stimulant. Barbiturate overdoses are also reported to cause erratic behavior. That's a sleep aid. There were no signs of stimulants. Are there any other possibilities? All I can think of is that it's some sort of illness, something like a Graves' disease, which affects the thyroid and is known to cause symptoms that resemble bipolar disorder, but Graves' disease has many characteristic symptoms on its own. The deceased exhibited none of them. I wonder, is there something that would happen more spontaneously, something that fits this case and would cause someone to want to commit suicide all of a sudden? Are you familiar with the organic mental disorder? In short, it's a condition where the brain is out of whack due to psychological injury or illness. I'd agree with Spawn. What about it? Trauma. They can be caused physical trauma, encephalitis, a stroke, or even tumors. Basically, even without a drug, one can succumb to an irregular mental state. The deceased was surrounded after being chased, and his life was in danger. All the stress could have messed with his brain chemistry. He could have hit his head, and those factors combined might have caused him to mutilate himself. It's possible. See, the grave at spawn, it's the hackers. We may be able to show items by looting it, but normal people can't grave rob. I'll give it a try. Could you explain it to me in simpler terms? Basically, he knocked his noggin in the brawl, and that made him go, hew. Then his lady didn't have any intent to kill. No. Okay, no, so that wasn't a laugh. That was no. Okay, I was like, man, this guy's unprofessional for laughing at this. Just smacked him in a bad place when he nicked some change? The two plump men laughed hoarsely. But of course it's not like that. Undoubtedly. If it was a habitable drug, it was something mental. The deceased's body holds the key. How are things on your end? Oh my goodness, look at the time. I need to get back soon to Kuruma-chan. Will get angry with me. Yeah, good luck. Best wishes. Best wishes. Yeah, one more piece of evidence. Those guys just now. They had a national diet badge. And it's prefectural assembly members and city councilor Sonozaki. That's interesting. The prefectural assembly members and city councilors are related. It's dirty is what it is. Shouting out each other's names during elections while one is up for election, the other one holds an assembly, and they double up their campaign activities. Blatantly. I don't know much about this stuff, but isn't that against the rules of the election? As long as they have no prior consultation, there aren't no restrictions on their political activities. Kuma-chan, the investigation division is going to be pretty tough for you. You should at least brush up on electoral policies. I'm not suited for an intelligence division, because I'm dumb. There was a prefectural assembly member, Sonozaki, and city councilor, Sonozaki. Also the mayor of Hiroshima. All of them involved with the Sonozaki family. What crap. Looks like they were seen off by the department chief and the deputy chief. Came to me. That night, when the chief invited me along to get some Odin, I thought that was it. Udon? Okay, hopefully I can finish this in 8 minutes because I got class. Let's go! You have a lot of connections, so you might have heard something, did you? Nope, not a thing. Ma'am, I'll take a tofu fritter and a fish cake, please. A counselor barked at me in the police chief's stead. Oh my, is that so? Ma'am, I'll take another bowl. Prefectural assembly member Sonozaki and city councilor Sonozaki were both intimidating. Our snot-nosed career police chief couldn't even handle being yelled at by them. I missed the last one. A petition with your name came up regarding how the investigation of Hiroshima instance is being handled. Goodness me, I've not the faintest. No need to play dumb. You're reopening the past cases regarding Hiroshima, aren't you? I've already got my hands full with Tomoko-san's death, actually. Ha ha ha. Really? If that's true, then there's no problem. There was a period of silence. While we were silent, we made a headway on our food and drinks. Phew, that was quite the feast. This month has been a bunch of losses for me, so my wallet was feeling the pinch. Much appreciated. Nah, it's nothing. Tell me a good horse again, and I'll bet on the same one as you. I haven't been doing well there lately. I haven't been able to read the horses at all. Taxi? I'm going by train. The police chief is taking a taxi. I have my own car, but it'd be rash to drive it home. Can't blow it right before retirement with a DUI. Even though he could still rattle off, it looks like his legs were already goo. Pushing him into the cab, I gave the driver the police chief's address. Well, see you again tomorrow, and Happy New Year. Oshi-san? Yeah. The past incidents have all been closed. Stop lumping them all together. Those villagers half believe it's really a curse. Well, I'm not convinced. You're going to be retiring next year, aren't you? Weren't you going to pay off your mortgage with your pension and move up to the Hooker with your mom? Mother plans to return to return to the land of her birth. It's the least I can do. And the pension, well, let me enjoy myself in Suzuki-san. Nah, the police chief may issue a special retirement salary raise, he says. A public servant pension is calculated based on their monthly salary. So if you were to get a raise right before retirement, your bonus to your salary would be inflated, and you'd get a heavy surplus funds. That tends to be how it's done around here. Of course, it's not a custom. That's the thought of highly. The difference between the bonus and the pension is quite a bit. Okay, we're just kind of talking about like just pensions here in retirement. I'd exact nothing less exemplary from our egg-headed chief. But, well, they say our salary is compensation for our hard work, but in the end, it really just has to do with passage of time. That's not something I can laugh at, but I'll laugh through it anyways. I don't think it's anything exemplary. But given how hard you've worked, it's not odd that you're getting that much of a pension. I'd really like to get that much myself. If I can get it, well, of course I'd want to. Yeah, you'll get it. You're an adult after all. Sorry for holding you up here. Driver, thank you very much. Thank the bus driver. Well, it's taxi driver, but thank him anyways. I closed the door roughly, interpreting the chief's conversation a bit rudely. It looks like the chief still had something to say, but he just smiled wryly and waved in return. The cab sped up gradually and soon disappeared amongst the sea of lights. No! Oh, man, I wonder if I really can repay that loan. So he's in debt. Ugh, man, my voice is destroyed after this session. Holy cow, I was reading fast and so much stuff happened. Dang, this is a good one. I love this. I love it. I love the writing. It's so good. I love it. It's good. And the freaking art's good. The music, the sound, the suspense. And it's like perfectly spaced out for me too, for to do 2 hours. Okay, so we're in chapter 9. How many chapters are? And they give you a lot of files. Alright. I've got a class to go to, so thank you all so much for joining me for this great adventure. I hope you're enjoying the suspension horror and my sultry voice as I narrate these characters in perfect voices. Hope you guys have a good rest of the day. Thank you, Alti and Tucson, for stopping by and saying hi. Hope you all have a good rest of the day. See you in the next stream, which will be tomorrow, because I'll be drawing more VTubers. So stay tuned for that.